Welcome everybody to another episode of Arizona Craft Beer Review. We're here again with our very good friend and editor of Phoenix Magazine, Craig Outier, and I'm Johan and Matt. We're so excited. Craig, how you doing?
Wonderful, thank you.
Good.
Thanks
Matt?
for being here.
Wonderful to be here. I still have a slight buzz from the last time we did this.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having
Well, those
fun.
were kind of some strong beers. We've lowered the ABV on this one,
Right.
Just a couple points. So.
Right?
So today we are going to be tasting sort of a local classic. That's the SanTan Devil's Ale, just American Pale Ale. Not as hoppy as an IPA, but still a nice balanced sort of flavor that these typically have. Cascade, Centennial, Simcoe hops, just your classic American Pale Ale.
I did wear my Sun Devil polo.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Many that I have in my closet.
It's a subtle reference to ASU.
Yeah,
Which
and fun
always a
fact,
fan of.
Craig probably remembers this. Back in 2010, ASU kind of threatened to sue SanTan Brewing because this used to be called Sun Devil Ale.
That's right.
Oh.
And it brought up a whole litany of debate about can ASU do that? They'd been called Sun Devil Ale for a long time.
It's better than their first name, Michael Crow Ale.
No one would drink that, right? Yeah, they want to sell the beer, and there's always been like Sun Devil liquors around. There's been Sun Devil.
So why pick on
that.
SanTan?
So they didn't want Sun Devil to be associated with alcohol.
Oh, that's right.
Even though there was a Sun Devil liquor. That store recently closed in the last year or two.
Yeah.
It used to be there in Country Club in Mesa.
Right. That was back when ASU was still thought of as a party school, not an innovator.
Right. Well, we are still a drinking school with a football problem.
Damn straight.
So.
Yeah.
That is one of the brief.
You didn't go there, right?
No.
You did.
I did.
I did as well.
Was it still a party school when you went, Matt?
Very much, yeah.
Yeah.
I was post-party
I think
school.
it might still be a party school.
Might
See,
still
no,
be.
so no,
They
because
can't quite shake that.
the reason it's not anymore is that they shut down Greek. What do they call it?
Greek
Fraternity
Row.
Yeah, and then they also
all the
boarded
friends
up
parties,
and
so.
basically nuked the inside of Manzanita Hall because of the history of that dormitory.
And now no one parties.
Now it's a contemporary, innovative dorm room, dorm hall.
Right.
With
It's
not
an
nearly
idea incubator.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, I love ASU.
Me too.
It is what it is.
It's big enough now you can kind of poke fun at it.
Yeah.
And hopefully not, be blackballed from state jobs later. I don't know.
Yeah, I drove down there recently. There's so much construction with all the new sports arena for hockey, and that's going to house the Arizona Coyotes for a couple of years.
Right.
It is insanely busy down there in the summer months with all the building, and there's brand new hotels going up. I mean, if you don't go down there regularly, you will be shocked by what's going on down there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's like raising an 8-year-old. It's like a year later, they're a completely different person.
Exactly. Ma, you've gotten so tall, Tempe. How about you? So let's talk a little bit about Devil's Ale here to bring it back. An American Pale Ale at 5.5%.
It's darker than I feel like most pale ales.
It's got like a kind of red. Yeah, there's some pales that can be this color, where it's red, or some can be very, very pale, if you will. Yellow. That sort of off orange, off yellow kind of color.
It's the caramel malt that they add in there. That gives it that color and probably gives it a fair amount of sweetness too.
I love pale ales. They're nostalgic because they were sort of the dominant style in craft beer before IPAs.
Yeah, Sierra Nevada was kind of the
Sierra Nevada
in that.
I was going to mention it's my favorite pale ale.
Sure.
I love Sierra Nevada.
Sure.
Now, would this be darker? Sierra Nevada is kind of dark. This is kind of similar to its profile, color profile.
So I was reading a little bit of the history of the owner of SanTan Brewing, Anthony Kanecchia. We've talked to him many times, done stories on him. He actually attended U of A, and he brewed this and called it Sun Devil Ale when he was there. So his friends...
Why he went to U of A, though?
At U of A, when he was home brewing, he called this beer Sun Devil Ale.
So his friends wouldn't drink it?
Yes. Slapped a label on it, and his friends didn't touch it in the fridge.
He seems like the kind of forward thinker, long-term thinker that also knew he's probably going to set up shop here as opposed to Tucson.
Sure. So yeah, speaking of, he set up shop down there in Chandler, downtown Chandler, fantastic location. And they briefly had that location up there off of like Bethany Home and 16th Street.
Yeah, that was a great location with
North
great
Phoenix.
food.
Yeah.
Really good.
I think they had to close down during the
COVID.
pandemic.
Yep.
I don't know if there's a lot of spots in that area that don't do well. That I went there.
There's a lot of
once and
turnover
it
there.
was
Yeah,
very,
it's
very
my
busy.
neighborhood.
Broadhouse had a short
Short
stint
run,
there.
Phoenix Beer Co. was in that area. They're off of I
Yeah.
think 7th Street or 7th Avenue.
Yeah.
In that
A lot of
area.
turnover on that street.
For sure.
Now it's a Blue Water Grill, the old SanTan.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of the Chandler location, and one of my favorite beers right now, especially during the summer, doing a paddleboard down the river is actually we have it right here in the front is the Pebblehead. They're hazy. They're stone fruit, tangerine. Is it tangerine? Yeah, tangerine and passion fruit. Just it's almost a sour IPA.
Yeah, any
because
kind of
how
like
tart it is.
Like a rock hard fruit.
Yeah.
Is where that stone fruit comes from.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of SanTan's beers. That you can find them everywhere. Their food's
Juicy Jack
good.
is great.
Juicy Jack is good for sure. For me, Pebblehead just kind of took over.
It's a little more hop forward than Juicy Jack.
No, it's tart.
Tart.
It's the stone fruit, the tangerine, really gives it this this tartness that almost makes it sour, but that
like a
balances
sour
really
IPA
nicely
almost.
with the hops.
Yeah.
So it's just real crushable. You could just drink it. It's almost like a tropical cocktail. It's really good.
Cool.
I'm a big fan.
So
This one.
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing that strikes me is that slight and pleasant metallic taste, not overwhelming at all. Just say
For sure.
I think that's typical of pale ales too. You get that. It's just that sharp kind of grace note you get.
And I think that comes from the heavier hand on the hops. This one does have the caramel malt, but it doesn't quite balance it out to where it makes it real smooth. It keeps that sort of hoppy bite to it. So not typically the kind of beers that I reach for, but it's beer is beer.
Everyone has their favorite hot day beer.
Yeah.
Usually it's like a lager or a light ale or something. But I like pale ales. On a hot day when you're dehydrated.
Absolutely.
For whatever reason, because it's the hops. It's refreshing.
Absolutely, and when you and it's not as strong as an IPA,
right?
Where on a hot day, a overly, a 7% IPA is gonna
mess you up.
Yeah, exactly. You're coming off the golf course or something. A pale ale, or like a pale lager or something like that is gonna taste a lot better than going for that 8% IPA.
Big time.
I could be wrong, but pale ale seems to be sort of the
precursor to an IPA.
Kind of. IPAs actually go pretty far back, but pale ale seem to be sort of like a very standard English style of beer. You compare English beers to German beers, for instance. There's a lot more of that hoppiness. You got your bitters and your pale ales. But do you guys know why they're called IPAs? Why they're called India Pale Ales?
Yeah, it's preservative, and
so they would ship them all the way around the Horn of Africa, all the way down around South Africa to India, and so they would just
the Horn is up by Ethiopia.
Okay, then I'm wrong about the name. I always thought the bottom there.
The Cape.
The Cape. Oh yeah, the Cape of Africa.
There's not a lot of capes around, so.
Yeah.
There's two. Is there more than two?
That's
there's the Cape of Good Hope, and then there's the one in
Cape Cod.
South America.
Oh, Cape Cod, yeah.
Yeah.
No, is that right? The capes can be anywhere.
Yeah.
I just think of the big ones.
Yeah, anyone can wear a cape.
Cape Fear is another one of those, right?
But they would fill the barrels with hops to help preserve the beer for the trip all the way to India. So that's why they're called India Pale Ales. But the Pale Ale, I think, is like the classic British.
Right.
And that's why they're a little bitter out there.
Yeah.
So they like their bitter beer.
Devil's Ale, also another fun fact, it ranks as the highest rated pale ale in Arizona from Draft Magazine, 96 pointer given to this one, so congrats. And this one won a gold medal way back in 2011 at some award called the GAZBF.
Great
I'm not-
Arizona Beer Festival.
That could be it. That's all. That's all the info I could find online. It,
I hope our festival has a little more staying power.
yeah,
Maybe that was the Great A to Z Beer Festival.
could be. Or somebody had a fat finger and it was supposed to be Great American Beer
That's
Fest.
right.
Who knows? Who knows? They obviously don't have a great editor like Craig to
Yeah.
help them
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So whether it's the Great American Beer Fest or the Great Arizona Beer Fest, gold medal award-winning beer here with Devil's Ale, and that brings us to mentioning not only our beer fest but our best fest, right, Johan?
That's right, yeah. So we have our Best Fest coming up. It's our celebration of our Best of the Valley issue, which we're very excited about. A lot of great local companies, local businesses, local products, beers, food, personalities are going to be there, and we're very excited. August 13th from 5 to 10 p.m. It's going to be sort of a party to celebrate Arizona, and we hope you'll make it. It's azbestfest.com, and it's going to be awesome.
Right, and then Arizona Craft Beer Fest, we're working on the judging behind the scenes.
That's right.
We had a great night the other night, going through all the sensory, kind of learning what an off flavor, why it tastes like green apple or red apple or corn or butter. Really fun night that we had at the Four Peaks Wilson tasting room, which I hadn't been to in a long time. They do that for private events, special events, and they were nice enough to open their doors for us. And all of our litany of judges and brewers, and we had home brewers, we had professional brewers, we had
beer enthusiasts,
beer lovers, we had
chefs
people who just wanted to learn. Chef Lee Hilson was there.
Oh, did Lee?
Yeah.
All right.
We had some bartenders there.
Yeah.
Really just a wide variety of people who are into our concept that we're working with the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild of judging beers and inviting competition among the brewers.
The whole goal behind the festival, behind the awards, is to really elevate the Arizona beer community, and I think it's already doing that in that it's kind of training a new generation, so to speak, of beer judges. We're really excited to be hosting our festival. It's going to be October 22nd at the Heritage at Sportsman's Park venue out at the Cardinal Stadium in Glendale. Really excited about that. We'll be launching ticket sales at the end of the month, so keep your eye out for that. We might be having a launch party somewhere. We're working on that right now, so azcraftbeer.com. Keep up with the news there, and obviously on our Instagram channel, and it's going to be great.
So speaking of, can you name a flavor in a beer?
Gosh.
Here? I picked one that's one of the more flavorful beers, 12-ounce can, just like this Devil's Ale, a famous beer, a brewery we've reviewed on the channel before and talked about. So I'll pour some here out of this mystery can and see if these guys can't nail it on maybe their first or second sip.
Through the paper, I like that.
Oh,
Gives it a little.
We are pouring through the paper.
Gives it a little extra flavor.
I
You have
meant to do that.
a 16-ounce cover for a 12-ounce beer. That's the
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, so you guys should be able to, I think, maybe get it on.
I'm so sad
It's
that
the
our
coffee Kolsch.
is
Got
it.
it. You got it. He's right.
Oh yeah, it's immediate.
So, coffee Kolsch. I mean, you can get it. Did you get it off the smell or the taste?
Smell, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
for
it's
sure.
right
It's
off
it's super.
It leaps into
it's
your little
distinct.
nostrils.
The smell is distinct from other like coffee beers like
Very
stouts or
fair.
porters because it has that distinct sort of toasty flavor of a Kolsch mixed with the coffee. This beer is one of my favorite beers.
Yeah,
I've
you
drank.
mentioned that earlier.
I have drank many a cans by the pool, or at a campsite, or anywhere. On a day drinking day where you start at 9 o'clock in the morning, this is kind of my go-to because it sort of blurs
gotta
the
have
line
coffee
between a
in
cup
the
of
morning,
coffee
yeah.
and a beer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hear coffee Kolsch. If they don't know a lot about beer, they immediately think, stouts, dark,
Right.
dark beers.
It's coffee, for God's sake.
But this is a Kolsch. It's a light beer. It's toasty. It's delicious. But it's got that little coffee flavor to it, and I love this beer. This is one of my favorite beers of all time. I love it.
Blonde
fan.
Coffee Amazing on the can. So
Yeah.
a couple of legendary beers here on this episode, Devil's Ale and Coffee Kolsch.
That's right.
And
Classics.
we'll see you for the next episode where we are going to do Uncle Bear's Barclays Peanut Butter Porter.
Ooh.